How did you accidentally discover your kink or fetish? Story 1. Was drunk one night in college, and an older woman at the bar I was talking to said, "You're cute, but I don't know if you can handle me." I pretty much told her to do her worst. Went home with her and had the most intense finish of my life till that point. Actually ended up hooking up with her on and off throughout my senior year. She was single but had business all over the country, so it was sort of whenever she wanted it. Learned that I am into slightly older, full-figured, and very sexually dominant women. And let me tell you guys, this has been an extremely difficult fetish to fulfill on an even remotely consistent basis. Reply 1. Dude, when you're younger, you don't usually see women older than, the 20s range that you'd want to sleep with? Not that they aren't attractive, but just not something on your radar or that you really think about. Dating and sleeping with a woman that was like 11 years older than me, I realized that older women know what they want and what to do, like a pro. Before that, a 41-year-old woman was just another person, and I wouldn't have taken a second look. Now, she's the most attractive one of the bunch. So what if your body isn't perfect? Neither is mine. And you're confident and don't play games? Oh lordy, I may have a problem. Story 2. I was 17 or so jumping on a trampoline with one of my close girlfriends. We laid down after bouncing around for a while, and she put her feet on me and then started playing around and putting them in my face. My shorts' elastic waistband was really put to the test that day. Story 3. I needed help overcoming minor dyslexia in my early years. In 3rd grade, I stayed after school 3 times a week to work with a teacher. I didn't quite piece this all together at the time, but she was young, 20-something, and very attractive. She would always, and I mean always, be wearing boots. So my first experience spending regular time with women alone, other than my mother, was with an attractive teacher who was in boots helping me with reading and grammar. My young brain must have fused an association between boots and time spent with an attractive woman. Yeah, ain't it funny how our brains create these weird associations when we're young? I can just imagine you growing up with an inexplicable fondness for boots and attractive women. But hey, at least your dyslexia got some extra attention. Story 4. I was hooking up with a girl I wasn't very attracted to. She was really into me, and I just needed to get laid. The problem was, it wouldn't stay up, if you know what I mean. I was pretty embarrassed, maybe for her, maybe for myself. I just felt really awkward and wanted to leave. She was still trying though, grinding on top of me. I said, "I'm really sorry, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I think I should go." I started to get up and sort of nudge her off me, but she wasn't having it. She put her hands on my chest and pushed me back down. So I'm just laying there while she continues grinding on me, and nothing's happening. Then I thought, I stated I want to stop, but she's continuing. Then before I knew it, I was rock hard. I felt like a piece of meat, like just a tool she was using to get her jollies with no regard for my comfort. And I loved it. It's a weird story, I know. Some will probably say problematic, but it's true, and I honestly feel fine about it. Reply 1. I had something not quite the same happen, but with a similar outcome. Doing doggy style with my then boyfriend when he hit my cervix. It hurt, so I cried out. But he shushed me, not wanting the neighbors to hear since the patio door was open, and mistaking the sound for pleasure. Well, I thought I should say something, maybe change position, which I knew he'd be receptive to, but then the thought of being in pain during sex and being told to be quiet so no one hears me made me really hot, and thus a potentially problematic fetish was awakened. Story 5. My boyfriend is bi and wanted you-know-what in his. Being a fairly soft and flowery person who is usually more submissive, I was a bit squeamish, but I'm a try-anything-once kind of girl. Figured I'd give it a go, which led to many other things we did after that. The more things we tried, the more submissive he became, and the more dominant I became. I thought I wasn't able to finish from just PIV sex until I saw him writhing in pain. Turns out I'm certainly not more submissive, and I was hitting all the wrong buttons. Thankfully, I plan on marrying this one because I can't imagine finding another guy that'd be cool with me doing what I do to my current boyfriend. Talk about a plot twist. It's funny how trying new things can help you discover a completely different side of yourself. I guess you could say you guys ended up swapping roles in a way. It's awesome though that you found someone who's not only open to exploring, but also perfectly compatible with your newfound preferences. Story 6. Came home early and walked in on my boyfriend wearing one of my skirts and dark eyeliner, sitting in a chair in our bedroom tying his combat boots. He's a really tall guy, about 6'3", and I'm 5'4", so the pleated skirt that was knee-length on me looked nearly mini on him, and the way he was sitting to tie his boots, I could see up the skirt a bit. I have to say that before this, our relationship was on the rocks. We were vanilla in bed, and we'd been feeling a lot of distance from each other, and it came through physically in every way. So it was a very hard time in our relationship. Anyway, I was in the doorway and froze. He saw me and froze, and out of a tornado of completely confusing feelings, crystallized something, like a massive, painful crush. Almost like I was seeing someone in person that was way out of my league, and like it was painful that I would never get a chance with them. I can't describe it better than that. And physically too, I was so turned on, it actually hurt my body. I'd never once thought twice about men in drag, had never responded in any way at all to it, hadn't fantasized, it just wasn't on my radar. Seeing him in that skirt and boots with eyeliner was like a tidal wave, not just physical but also emotional, and I cannot believe I never had any idea that feeling was inside of me. Unreal how strong it was. Also, as a happy ending, our relationship turned around that day. It was like this part of him was the part I needed in him, and expressing it and having me love that side of him was what was missing for him, because we've been together for 4 years since that day, and I can't imagine another man looking so hot in my clothes and making the earth move for me like that. Story 7. I used to have this beat-up button shirt that I'd wear around the house. Would drive my wife nuts. To be fair, it wasn't practical or presentable in any way, just something I'd put on around the house. One morning, my wife is taking the other beat-up clothes and cutting them into rags for cleaning. She sees me in my buttoned trash shirt and tells me I need to get rid of it. "Make me," I reply. She walks over to where I was sitting, straddles me, and gives me an intense kiss. As she did this, she grabbed my shirt with both hands and pulled. The buttons snapped off and flew across the room. The sound of the fabric giving way and the feeling of it tearing against my skin was so hot. She pulled away and looked excited and elated. She was now the naughty girl who ruined my clothes, and I was too caught up in how damn hot she was primarily, ripping my clothes off. So apparently my kink is clothed shredding. We keep something a little worn in our dressers every now and then. The problem is now I'm at work thinking about it. Story 8. Though I was submissive, my ex made me realize I was a dom. I used to love the idea of a woman taking control and using me for no other purpose than to get herself off. A part of me still does, and one could say I was a little submissive. However, my ex changed me quite a lot. She was inexperienced when it came to sex. So when we hooked up for the first time, she wanted me to guide her along. It was quite a wholesome experience at first, each party letting their partner know what they liked and disliked. Then I noticed that the more instructions I gave her, the more she got off. She would have massive orgasms from simply being told what to do. The more forceful the tone, the harder she got off. This eventually turned me into being somewhat of a dom. When we were alone, she would want me to use dirty/degrading language when talking to her. She let me have sex with her whenever I liked. I could literally just grab her by the hair and push her down, and she would suck my dick without question. Then she would get off harder than I would, just from being made to blow me. It should be said we always had a safe word in place, as should any couple that is into that kind of thing. Now I love being in control of a woman. I thought I was submissive. Turns out I am actually more of a dom. I found out all thanks to her, and I really miss her sometimes. Yeah, sometimes it just takes the right person to help us uncover hidden desires and preferences. It's amazing how your relationship with your ex led to a complete reversal of roles for you. Life sure knows how to throw curveballs, and it seems like this one turned out to be a game changer. Story 9. I was watching my morning cartoons while getting ready for school in like 4th grade or something. Bowser had Princess Peach tied up and on a machine with a wheel of feathers tickling her feet. I'm pretty sure that woke up like 7 different feathers in me. Story 10. Back in high school, my boyfriend at the time was each other's first. About 95% of our sex took place in the backseat of his parents' SUV because he had a license and I shared a bedroom with my sister growing up. At first, we were fooling around one night and he wanted to see how far his hand could go inside. We tried it. Didn't know I'd be into fisting, but it really fills you up. And secondly, the same guy, but a few years later, we had broken up but still slept together regularly, and I thought we'd be getting back together eventually. All of a sudden, he tried a new move of completely pinning me down so I couldn't move while he was going down on me. Somehow, the restraint made it even hotter. Until I found out that he learned that move from sleeping with someone else a few days before, and that kind of ruined it for me at the same time. Story 11. I was doing clinicals at the ER, and an attractive football player came in with a broken clavicle. Seeing him in pain definitely awakened something in me. Story 12. So mine is exceptionally strange, at least I think so. I have a foot fetish, but the way I obtained it is strange as fuck. When I was 3, I was watching an episode of Barney, and there was a scene where a girl had her toes counted in a song to the tune of 10 Little Indians. 1 little, 2 little, 3 little toes, etc. For whatever reason, this completely changed my world. To this day, aside from the usual foot fetish stuff I and many others like, I have this sub-kink for counting toes to that song. Reactions have been mixed, and all my partners thought it was strange. I mean, it is. But some were nice about it. My forever girlfriend has her own set of really strange kinks. So I finally have an outlet to be as weird as humanly possible with this, and I count her 10 little toes all the time now. But yeah, I got my foot from Barney and Friends and love to count toes to the Counting Toes song from that show. I've never met anyone else who got their foot from that scene, and believe me, I've looked. I guess some kind of weird wiring in my brain, LOL. Story 13. Went home with a girl, and we were both so drunk. There had been no flirting, no innuendos, nothing. I took her back to my place because she lived pretty far from where we were partying and told her she could sleep in my bed and I would sleep on the couch. Once home, I went into my room to get changed. She was still in the hallway taking her shoes off and hanging her jacket or whatever. So I thought I would be quick enough, put on my shorts, and then go to the living room and crash. But before putting on my shorts, I remembered I had to get my charger on the other side of the bed. So I get up on my bed, on all four, trying to grab the charger, connected to the wall behind my bed, so a bit tricky to get out smoothly, when I feel a tongue licking my ass like it was the most delicious ice cream ever, and a hand stroking my cock. I then realized that getting a while being stroked out is the best thing ever. And the fact that a lot of the women I've since met find it nasty sucks. Story 14. Hanging out with a slightly older married couple in my early 20s while drinking and having a good time. The wife worked with special needs teens. I can't recall how it happened, but somehow got either dared or lost a game, and the result was I had to wear one of the diapers she had from work. I was pretty skinny back then, still kind of am, so it fit. It was a point of inner reflection for me. The husband couldn't stop laughing and calling me cute. Yes, I ended up going to bed with both of them. More than a decade later, and now I have a storage tote full of things that would require me to move states away if discovered by anyone I know. Oh, this story's definitely one for the books. It's crazy how a single, seemingly harmless dare can lead to such unexpected and eye-opening experiences. Who would have thought that a diaper could be the catalyst for a memorable night and even influence your interests years later? Just goes to show that life's most unforgettable moments can happen when you least expect them. Story 15. So I'm an odd one. I was 11 or so, alone at home getting ready to leave for school. I needed to use the bathroom before I headed out, and I had a random urge to just go then and there. So I wet my pants. A fraction of a second after I was done, I was all, what the fuck did I do that for? Cue about 10 years of self-loathing to try and suppress random urges to have accidents, I eventually learned to accept it. These days, it's a net positive in my life. I'm not sure I'd wish a diaper fetish on anyone, but it's not as bad as I thought it would be. Please leave your story down below in the comments. I would absolutely love to make a video about them in the future. And also, don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, peace.